Welcome back, everyone, to Created Work, where we unpack what it takes to be a builder and creator in Web3. We are lucky enough to have the Elefam team with us today, so we are not going to belabor here too long. Just a little bit of bookkeeping, though. We do go live 3 times a week, sort of. Tuesdays, this show is our most regular show, I think, at this point. Tuesdays is our Created Work show. Wednesday, Ken and I do publish a new video with an interview from someone from the creator economy. That's our series. Usually releases on YouTube first. And then on Fridays, when we're not overwhelmed with work, we will also do the news, creative briefs. So feel free to head over to createdeconomy.com to find out the full details or follow us on Twitter at Created Economy. This show, though, in particular, is all about Web3. And we are lucky to have all of our regulars back. Francine, Arnold, how are you? And we have Brandon and just ask.
Wait, where's Abhinav?
Media.
That's it. So let's just share a little anecdote. Francine, I don't know how you remember anything because I clearly can't remember crap, right? I've been doing my Techstars demo day video, and if you want to see someone who is inept at recording and memorizing things, I can share a video with you. But in the meantime, we are here and happy and excited to have the team from Elefam with us. I came across your project just because of the art. Literally, it was in my stream, and I was like, "This is beautiful." I think it's my Hindu heritage sees elephants is very special in our culture as well. And I was just like, wow, this looks really nice. And I think we were in a space together and I was clicking around or something. And so let's jump into it. We'd love to learn a little bit more, just about, the project. Who wants to go or share with us,
I want to see the art. So
okay.
would you show the art first?
So demanding, Francine.
I'm sorry.
You act like I have all this time to prep for this show.
And you act as though you didn't know Abhinav was missing from all the regulars.
I know. I try to offload as much work as possible to others, but this week has bit me in the butt. All right, hold on. Let me just find the art. And I need to share the URL out also. All right.
You'll always hear babies around Nidia. Nidia is surrounded by babies all the time.
You know what? That's a good thing. Babies are awesome. We love babies.
Yes. Sorry if I mute in and out.
Babies make
no
me happy.
Apologizing for babies. All right. So yes, this is the art I first came across. I saw it in my feed and I was like, wow, these are really beautifully rendered. And what drew me originally was one, that it's a women themed sort of matriarchal sort of project, but also the focus on mental health was really interesting to me. Just a lot of things going on. So here's the team, Doc's team as well, which is also always nice. Or at least in our opinion here on the show. And so, yeah, not even minting yet, by the way. You're still pre-mint, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
What's your mint date?
The way we don't have a mint date yet. We're all actually we're about.
This is a breaking news show, by the way, so we like to break news.
Oh boy, I wish I had breaking news. But
Please
we
don't
currently
join your Discord to find out.
You don't have
No,
to. No one knows.
Nobody know. I don't even know. So currently, we don't have a mint date yet. And the way Elefam started. Well, so I work with Brandon. We've been working together for 12 years. So I know him since he had 0 babies and since I had 0 babies. So it's been, it's been a journey with him. And I remember calling him, I don't know, like two months ago, maybe. And
it was more than that now, but yeah. Several months.
It feels like 2 years ago, but it's been maybe 2 months ago. And all my life, I always wanted to do something, sort of like bigger than what I noticed in my family. I'm from Mexico, and my parents are super Mexican, meaning they had this path for me, right, where I would get married and have a family and tend to my family. And hey, you've made it. Sorry?
A familia.
Una familia. Perfecto. Claro que sí. And I do have a family. I have a 5-year-old, I have a 1-year-old, I have a husband, I have a dog. So I have a family. However, I wanted to do something more than that. I wanted to, I'm also a woman. I'm also a person. So I kind of rebelled, if you want to say that, against my path. And I went to college, and I got a career, and I've been working with Brandon for 12 years. And as soon as I started having family, my parents again told me, like, oh, you should stay home. And so, there's been here and there, right? And I remember calling Brandon and telling him, like, I think
where in Mexico, and where have you been working with Brandon?
Oh, so I'm from North Mexico, Matamoros, Tamaulipas.
Okay.
It's a border town with Brownsville, Texas.
Matamoros, yes.
And that's where yes, okay. Good. I'm glad. Yes. And I was raised in Brownsville
last week, so there.
Oh, fun.
Nice.
We're in, well, okay.
And Playa del Carmen, and I learned Spanish from Duolingo. So, go ahead.
Ooh, okay. That sounds fun.
2 años.
Hello?
Oh, yeah, we can hear you. Sorry. And I think Francine was also curious, just what kind of work I know you and Brandon were working together for a while. What kind of
work did Brandon do with each other?
Oh, we work in a marketing team for an energy company here in we live in Dallas, Texas.
Related to an elephant family.
Yeah, not at all related, but yes, we've been in marketing. I manage a creative team for this company that we work for, and Media's been a project manager and social media strategist type for the team for a while. Well, for as long as I've known her. So we started when the company was fairly young. It was about 5 years old, and it's grown tremendously, and we've been bought since then. And so lots of growth happened within our company, but a small team still, and that lets us learn a lot about ourselves, and just wear a lot of different hats too. So I said Nidia is a project manager, but she does a lot of other things too, which and then it also allowed me to learn video, marketing, graphic design.
I'm looking for your Twitter. So
What's that?
I said, I'm looking for your Twitter.
Oh yeah, yeah. It'll be
So,
plastered. I'm
yeah.
actually fairly new to the Web3 world. Nidia
I think
kind of
everyone
brought.
is. Don't worry.
Well, I'm very new, like 2 months new into the Web3 world. So I'm very much learning. Nidia brought
Yes.
me in. She's pretty connected. So
Super cool. So continue telling the story. I guess, and I did hear you mention, I guess you're in Dallas though, or you're based in the States now, or?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. We're based in DFW area all around. I live in Prosper, and Brandon lives like an hour and a half away from me. So, and we're all working from home currently. And I remember like 2 months ago or so, I called Brandon and I was like, Brandon, I want to do something with the NFT, with an NFT project. My husband can help us with the dev work, but I need someone to help me with the art. And basically my idea to him kind of, I told him about my background and how I wanted to sort of have a voice I feel like in Web 2, I didn't really have a voice yet. Oh, that sounds terrible. But I see Web 3 as an opportunity, not just for me, but like for my kids to have that voice, to be a leader,
No, it sounds like they have a
And I
voice right
told
now.
Brandon, like,
I hear them.
they have a very
they
loud.
do. They
I
do.
hear a voice.
Can you share a little
Yes,
more?
sorry. Oh.
No, don't worry about it. I really find this really intriguing because there is this distinction that a lot of people from Web3, I think, feel. And the interesting question I have is, did you seek out a voice in Web 2, right? Like, because I know a lot of people definitely didn't have a voice, right? Like they were things covered them up, right? For sure. But also not everyone was seeking a voice, right? Like, and so it's interesting. Like, I feel like we've potentially also moved to where more people feel empowered to want one or to have one. I'm kind of curious about that distinction for you. Like, as you move from Web 2 to 3, is that part of that transition to you?
I think it is. So currently, if you mentioned, did you seek out a voice? Did you try? And it's been a tough ride, like in real life work. I had my firstborn, and I kind of went back to, I want to be a stay-at-home mom. I want to take care of my child, right?
Everybody
after
feels
3
that
months,
way. Everybody feels
right?
that way for the first 3 months, and then the baby wakes up, and you're like, "Oh my God, this is work. Get me back to my job." And yeah, been there.
So you're absolutely correct. And I remember speaking to my boss, and I said, "Hey, I want to do part-time, stay at home. Can I do that?" And he magically said yes, which I was very impressed. So that to me kind of like my priorities kind of shifted, to my family.
But there's no way that you
my
need to be in an office to do social media work. You're just working online anyway. So if your boss
Correct.
already knew you and already knew that you were capable, and and you already knew the company, it's fine.
Correct. Yeah. So I think that's why, but everybody else was in person, and I was the only one part-time. And that kind of shifted I feel like that kind of shifted my voice, because there was really no promotion, I can be director of communications,
Yeah.
I continued doing my job as is. And ever since, it's been 5 years that I've been doing that. And
that is the trade-off. That is the trade-off.
It is.
There used to be
It
a
is.
name for it, and it was called the mommy track.
Yeah. So, and I think that's where, like, Gregarious, I know you mentioned like that's when my voice kind of took a pause. And then Web3 happened, and I was like, holy snap, we can do something here. We can give back, and we can help, and we can all learn together. And that's one thing that I wanted to also, have with Elefam, kind of give a voice to women that also want to be leaders in the community and bring a community together, but make it through women leadership. And that's when I called Brandon. I told him all this story, and go ahead, Brandon.
No, so yeah, she told me kind of what she wanted to do, and I was on board with it, but it felt weird for me as a male to create art for a female project. But at the same time, I'm a dad of 3 daughters, so I couldn't be inspired by firsthand experience, but I could be inspired through the lens of them and what I wanted for them in the future. So me and Nidia talked about it. We researched. She had a few ideas for art, but in the end, she kind of just said, I'm going to leave it up to you. So I got back to her a few days later, and I said, I think that this concept of elephant herds really makes sense for this Web3 community, that they're led by this matriarch, and there are several female matriarchs, Francine, you being one of them.
I am a matriarch.
Right. And so there are lots of them out there, and they are bringing up younger females in this space. And so that's kind of where the idea evolved from, is this idea that we can create this herd. We're going to break it out into 4 herds. When we mint, there's going to be these invisible traits where you belong within a herd. And then those herds will really drive what the project does in a way. They're gonna pick the charities that they want to donate to, and we'll give them some thoughts on our thoughts for charities, but in the end, it's going to be up to them. So really a community-driven project that will eventually be led by matriarchs within those herds.
Yeah, and Brandon, I'm actually curious too, because you mentioned that your daughters were part of the inspiration that kind of helped you to really get connected with the project. And I know you'd mentioned, or I saw somewhere that they actually even got involved with helping you to create the art. I was wondering if you could just talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I thought, in creating art for this, being inspired by them is great, but a big part of the art process to me is the process. It's not the end result. It's how you get there and what you're thinking of through the process. So I wanted them to be involved in it. And so what ended up doing was, at the beginning of the project, I took 2 of my girls. I've got a 4, 6, and a 9-year-old girl. So I've kind of got them, a little bit spread out, but I took 2 of them to a bookstore, and they picked out magazines and floral books and things like this. And we came home, and they cut out the pieces that they wanted in this collection. So a lot of what you see within the herd, I would take the pieces that they cut out. We've got plants all around the house, and some of our plants even have been passed down from grandparents. So my wife's mom through propagation, has passed down plants to us. So I've taken photos of those plants, taken photos of flowers around the house, and created digital brushes with them. And so then I was able to create the artwork with that. And also, some of these backgrounds that you're seeing in these are literally like 100% done by my 6-year-old. Like, I set her down.
I think you ought to stress that.
Yeah.
I think this is really, really important, because one of the slogans of Web3 that I find doesn't really materialize enough in the actuality is WAGMI.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to make it, and we are all going to make it. And I think it's really Well, my general thought after spending over a year looking into Web3 and NFTs and women-led projects is that there's a greater voice for women than is actually being used. And women have been behind some of the most innovative projects. Okay, hold your ears, everybody. I am part of a women-led project called the Dick 2 Club. And what here it is. I find ways of mentioning it pretty much every week.
Every episode has dicks in it.
Yes, but it's basically 10,000 different dicks. Well, you can't really have those dicks designed by your children, but,
Yeah.
but these elephants can be. And I think having the elephants designed by the children is unique and marketable and exciting and real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's what sets us apart a little bit from the rest of the marketplace. I hope that's what other people see. It means a lot.
They won't
to
see
me.
it if you don't point it out to them. You have
Right.
to, people don't really see
Yeah.
stuff on their own. They have it, they go, oh, there it is, after somebody points it out to them. So you have to tell it, you have to make it part of your story. Make all these children that you guys have part of your story and wind them into the project in a very meaningful way. And that will separate you out from a lot of the other projects that are basically women-led projects, but they don't have children in them. Where's that?
Yeah.
Bring me on that baby.
She wants a baby.
Honey, Francine wants the baby.
Baby for a minute.
If you're
I'll
okay,
bring the baby in a second.
let's be clear.
Don't you really think so that if the children are part of the project,
Are there yeah, I'd love to chat a little bit about some of the details, I guess, about the mint. So one, I love the art, Brandon. I think I could see it, like they look painted, right? Like they look like they were made by hand, which I think is beautiful.
Hand-painted Mexican elephants. Are there elephants in Mexico?
But
there are now.
I guess I'm curious about a few things, and I've seen people make these choices, and I'm kind of just curious to unpack it. I have seen, like, for example, sometimes people have, I think, too many traits. 100 doesn't seem like too many with the complexity of like the elephant itself. But sometimes what ends up happening, and again, this goes to an underlying question, right? Of if you try to optimize for the financial side of these things, right, then rarity becomes like important. And so what I've seen some projects do, and I don't think you're doing it, by the way, but is that they have so many traits that basically everything's rare, right? And so it doesn't create like a strong secondary. And, to the extent that those dollars are useful or needed for the future projects, right? Like you sort of end up in a potentially like odd place, like where like there isn't a lot of trading, I guess, right? I think it's a good sign of a project when it has like a lot of holders and no one wants to sell them, right? Like unique holders relative to collection size is awesome. Like if you have a high number there, it's great, right? But that's also not necessarily good if like the economics require like a bunch of secondary things to happen, right? But I am curious about like how'd you decide on like the traits? How'd you decide on 4,000, right? Like not 10,000 or not one of ones, or what are those pieces? And then you mentioned these hidden traits. I don't see that kind of in the website, but I would love to talk about, I guess, the aspiration around the herds, right? And like, and are they like DAOs, or is it like something else that you're thinking about? So I'm just kind of curious more about the project, because there's so many interesting details.
And the roadmap. Yeah.
Yes. So we decided we didn't want to do a 10K project. Honestly, I mean, I'm sure you guys, you all know how the market's a little bit, a little shaky right now, a little tough. And 10K is a huge one. And we're like, okay, trying to decide, we want to have 4 herds. So do we want, 8,000 where each herd is, I'm like 2 for 6, 8, 2,000 in
Yeah.
NFTs. Like, so let's, we thought about 1,000. We thought about 1,000. We're like, okay, what about 4,000? And we decide on 4 different herds. Here's the baby Francine.
Okay.
And
There's the baby. Hello. Hi, cutie. You know, Greg, doesn't this baby remind you of Lil Papa back
Yeah.
back in
I'm
the
sorry,
day?
I'm gonna have to stop the camera.
Okay, no
But
problem.
I'll
No
be
problem.
here.
Okay.
Okay. So we decided on 4,000, and we're like, we'll just we'll make a small collection. We didn't want to do a big collection. And honestly, there's really no rhyme or reason why we decided on, not going on 10,000, but basically a small collection. And we're 4,000, 4 different herds, and we're going to separate the herds. The dev work is going to be in the back where they sort of separate each herd with a, I don't know how my husband's going to do this, but he's going to just make sure that there's 4,000 on, I'm sorry, 1,000. Oh my God, I'm losing track. 1,000 on each. Oh God, baby's leaving. Sorry, y'all.
Okay.
Motherhood.
Don't worry.
Where the 1,000 each herd will be there. And yes, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry I made you do that.
Nothing to apologize for.
Yeah, this is
You're fine.
This is real life. There's nothing to be sorry for. This is
We
how
don't
we
have
do
an
it.
Okay.
on the show, or I would have, installed it so you could use it.
And each of the herds will come together. They'll verify on Discord, and then once we're sold out, each of the herds will select a charity to donate their portion of the proceeds.
Is that a vote, like a on-chain, like a snapshot kind of thing, or are you just going to do a poll, or how do you?
We're just going to do a poll. We're going to get their ideas on what type of charities they would like to suggest. But we also have a few suggestions that we will also give to each of the herds, or to all the herds, and then have them decide. But the ultimate goal is each of these herds will get a special herd NFT. Each holder, will get a special herd NFT. And Brandon can tell you a little bit more about that. But then once we sell out, each herd will have the option to select a matriarch within their herd. There's always someone on Discord, someone on Twitter that's always talking about a project. And our like, what I would like Elefam to do is kind of signal out female leaders, women leaders, right? And I want the community, each of those 4 herds or 4 communities, to signal out, to point out who in their herd has stood out as a female, as a woman leader. And then that one leader will get, those 4 leaders will be their matriarch. And those 4 will be airdropped a matriarch NFT, which is sort of like a one-on-one. And what we want with those matriarchs to do in the community is to kind of come in and to have I want to have a Twitter Spaces called Lead and Learn. And what we want to do with these Lead and Learns is sort of have different discussions on Twitter Space about Web3. What is blockchain? What are NFTs? What are the potentials of NFTs? What are some good job skills that you can get in Web3? And sort of have educational Twitter Spaces. Yes, we will also have those motivational ones and tell us your stories, but I want to focus in education. And I don't know everything. So we will also have other, women leaders like Lori Grace, like Gigi, who's a really good, I mean, I feel like she's a friend of mine. 90s babe, Danielle, I mean, smart women, the coin girl, Laura, I mean, she knows a lot too about Web3. She's been here a long time. So we want to have those spaces with women leaders and showcase each of those matriarchs to come into Twitter spaces and teach the herd or teach the community. And then with time, I want those matriarchs to say, I've been here for 2 months. I've been in a matriarch in my herd, but I've also seen this person shine and her be able to pass down that matriarch NFT to that next women leader and so forth, so on. So that's a huge goal that I would like to do with Elefam.
Randy Zuckerberg has a Discord channel called BFF, and it's a women's group to teach other women about Web3. And she also has an accelerator, and she's not that difficult to get in touch with because she's online all the time. And she's very into crypto and NFTs. So I think it would be great if you could get her to somehow be involved and be one of your matriarchs.
Is Randy BFF also? Because I know she's got Hug now.
Yeah, she does have Hug. She has BFF and Hug, and Hug is the accelerator. BFF is the crypto project, is the NFT project that runs classes. And quite frankly, I'm not up to speed on either of them because I just can't spend all that time in Discord.
Yes, Randy Zuckerberg would be amazing to get in touch with. And I haven't reached out to her. I have been in some of her Twitter spaces. I had no idea she was involved with BFF. I just have heard from her because of Hug. And I'm also trying to figure out what Hug is.
I think here's the big dirty secret about Web3. There are no experts and nobody knows yet what anything does. Everyone is learning together. And I think Randy just gets up at, Randy is a person I know. So when it comes time to mint, I can help you get in touch with her. But here's the thing, everyone gets up in the morning and starts trying. Wouldn't you guys agree with that?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. There is no map for this journey. This is really, I love this baby.
Thank you.
There is.
Thank you. And you know what? I feel like we can mold our careers, our journeys. We can mold them as we go.
It's the truth. It's the truth, and that's why it's mainly especially on these types of projects, it's really a women's networking opportunity on all these NFTs for us all to support each other. I was just looking at my bank accounts this morning, and I have never been less liquid because I have bought everybody's NFT. And I'm not selling anything. I'm like, okay, I'm out here. I've bought your NFT. It means I'm going to help you. It means I want to help you. And, and all you have to do is reach out. And that's how we all help each other. And that's always been a major tenet of my life, but especially with Web3, because women have so much opportunity in Web3 that they didn't really have before, because women are taken seriously in Web3 because women are creators and artists. And this is, the technology has, and you can stop me, Arnold and Greg, the technology is basically fungible. There's nothing special about the tools because the tools are now built, unless you think
we'll riff on that actually though, Francine. I guess for I'm curious, you guys had mentioned that you don't know your mint date yet, right? Is that a technological challenge? Is it a bandwidth challenge?
No.
Like what's going on?
No, we don't have a mint date just because we're sort of, we're focusing on building a community first, and just trying
Great.
to.
Yeah. Sorry, she's. Are
So
you?
you're doing customer acquisition, basically.
Basically, yes. We have a small community and Discord currently, and we're just trying to do collaborations. And I feel like Web3 and NFT projects is all about collaborations
Right.
with the right projects. And that way, and I feel like we can grow by doing collaborations with each other and Twitter Spaces. And honestly, that's our focus right now, trying to grow, trying to get people interested in the project.
Sorry, I'll jump in. One of Nedia's goals, she told me from the beginning, was to grow this organically and slowly, most likely, because that's the only way to do it organically. And so it's one of the things that we haven't bought users or anything like that. We haven't paid promoted anything, and it's something that she had kind of made as a goal from the beginning. Technologically, the developers we have going, they've worked on other projects, so we technically could mint within probably a week at this point. We've got it all ready, but it's just something we're kind of trying to feel it out, like everybody else in Web3, right? And
I guess I'm curious.
Nidia, have you thought about translating your materials into Spanish and trying to attract a different market?
You know what's so funny, Francine? I always tweet in English and, well, not always, but I tweet in English and Spanish in my personal account, and I have not done it with my Elefam.
Okay, I would say that's foolish.
I know.
I would say that's flat out say that's foolish, because it's such a great advantage to being bilingual, and there's so much enthusiasm, in the Hispanic community, Latinx, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, and to that point, I'm about to have a Twitter space sometime next week or the following with someone from Mexico City that does Twitter spaces with projects every week. So we just need to kind of touch base on it. Well, it's going to be Spanglish. I did talk to him and tell him that Brandon only speaks English.
Well, let me know when it is, and I'd like to see whether my hypothesis that there's a market here, that you would be really kind of a first in.
We'll definitely promote it for you as well. Arnold, I think you had a question about community though.
No, yeah, I think it was like, even kind of getting to Francine's point where it's like expanding the community. I guess I'm curious, like, do you guys have a goal in mind of where you're trying to get that community to before you feel comfortable moving to the next step?
I mean, I've been in Discords about, and I've kind of noticed the whole, I feel like projects need a little bit of hype in order to understand that, okay, we're ready. The community is ready. The community wants the project, right? Let's set a mint date. I mean, the dev work is my husband's like, just let me know a mint date. You're fine. I got you. The artwork is ready. It's just that moment of, okay, I think we have enough hype. Let's go. Let's do it. So we're waiting for that. And especially what I've noticed, doing it organically, it's slow, and the reason why I know, Gregory, as you mentioned, why did you guys get a community manager when you don't even have a mint date yet, was because nobody likes Discord, right? So let's be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly,
the red cape for Francine.
Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one, Francine, but Discord is tough, and I absolutely believe that,
especially for women, and I really don't understand that. It doesn't seem to be. It doesn't
I hate
seem.
it. I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, I like it, and because I like it to connect with people. I get to see what they're doing, what they have planned. I mean, we have this person that has a kid, and we connected on that, and I just love those connections, right, that you make, and or like the single person asking you questions about motherhood or about, you know, having a partner, etc. So I know that there's amazing parts of Discord that you can. I mean, I love it and hate. It's like a love-hate relationship, right? Because once you're in there, you start connecting with people, you just cannot leave. And the baby starts crying, dinner has to be made, etc. So that's the reason why
That's why you don't have a mint date. No, I'm just kidding.
That too. But and I think a community manager is completely something that every project has to have, because you need someone dedicated to be there, or even mods. You need someone dedicated to be there to say hello, how you doing, how's everybody doing. We're also planning on weekly games, not just weekly Twitter spaces, these lead and learns, but we're also going to have weekly games where people can win hurt list spots. And our hurt list spot, I don't think I've talked about it. We're not going to have a pre-sale or a whitelist. What we're going to do is, my husband thought about this idea was, let's just go to main to a 1-day sale, but we have a hurt list, and then we have everybody else, a general sale. And if you're part of the hurt list, you'll get a discount on the mint price.
What's the meaning of a hurt list?
A hurt list is, you know, like the elephants come in herds, and that's what we're sort of doing.
Herd list.
Yes, herd.
Sorry.
You're fine. My I don't know. Sometimes my accent and my English and Spanish is kind of
no. Sometimes my hearing.
So, you know,
why do you want a hurt list? Why do you want to hurt people?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I was like,
no, we don't want to hurt anybody.
Like, my husband came with a great idea. Let's bring 100 for the hurt list.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So our members, and that's what we're doing when we do collaborations. You know, we give away hurt list spots.
Are you capturing addresses? You know, we had Rachel on recently from XDAO, and she just did a pre-mint. And so she actually gave away, it's a free mintable pass. And she did a BOGO kind of thing. Like, so when you get one, you actually get this other one that you can give to a friend automatically. I don't know, it might be another interesting model, but you might be able to spread the word more by giving that herd list spot, like making it something they could give to someone if they think someone else should be in the community.
That's an interesting, you see, this is why I feel like this is an opportunity to just build your own, you know, kind of mold it to what you want to do.
No right answer. That's right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And really that's part of the reason we haven't set a mint date yet, is we're open to changing things. You know, if we see that, or if we don't see, I mean, part of this is like everybody's doing the same thing, and we don't want to be, you know, it's one of the reasons I wanted to create an elephant and do this matriarchal thing, is because as far as I know, it's never been done before.
It's not an ape.
It's not an ape, right? So we're open to changing things and opening to changing the collection size, and you know, it's like we're trying to figure it out and pivot if we need to, or if we think the market says that. I want
to have a space with you and XDAO and maybe some others from our network now, like, because I think this alternative minting models is really interesting, and I think like more people should be talking about them.
I think so too, and we seem to have them. I think, Greg, that you're inviting them on because they appeal to you, but we are, you know, we could, you know, sooner or later present them as a trend, and they might, you know, they might sort of change things up a little bit, because it is tough to sell 10,000 of anything. There's one guy on Clubhouse called The Rundown, and he had an NFT project called Little Hippo, and he had a very big audience, but it took him quite a while to sell out 10,000 Little Hippos. And he had a roadmap and, you know, an agency and the whole thing, but 10,000 of these things, you need you need a certain number of people who are willing to take a gamble on an NFT, are willing to get behind your project and know how to buy ETH and use it, or whatever blockchain you're going to mint on, know how to buy it and have it in a wallet and use it. That's a heavy lift.
And on top of that, women is even a smaller segment of
okay,
that,
right, exactly.
So it's a small segment and a niche market that we're going after.
But Francine, to your point, really quick, I am curious because I agree with everything you just said, but I also do wonder, kind of getting back to the angle on the story, right? I think this is a really special story, not only from I guess what the mission is for the project, right? But then also, Brandon, kind of coming back to the artwork and the fact that you brought your girls into it to help them create. So it's just this nice full circle. It's a beautiful story. So I wonder if tying that in actually helps to to kind of, I guess, further things along than just some of the projects you see was here's some generative art. Just
I agree, Arnold. This story is not told the way it needs to be told. It is. We have picked it out of you during this hour. We have sort of coaxed it out, and the more we talk about it, the better it gets. And so what that means is that you need really, you need a storytelling session, or so that you get the parts of the story that are unique and special and interesting and valuable, and you pull them all together, and then that is what you are selling, that you're selling the whole project, like.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I mean, the hard part is Twitter, you get your 128 characters and you get it, a couple times a day or whatever you want to do. And how do you tell that full story that succinctly? We've posted, we post some things, but
Medium. You write your whole background story.
Voices. You can talk. Your voice is a powerful tool also, right? I wanted to go back just I guess a little bit on the story, but Brandon had made a comment earlier, and I think this is an important topic, and I would like to close on it, I guess. But Brandon, you expressed a little hesitation about designing the art for I mean, I think you're one of the leaders of the project, so I don't know it's a women-led project per se, but I do feel like, and Francine touched on this, your customer isn't only women, right? So I'm kind of curious just about what your thoughts are, or sharing some of that about, how to have and accept more allies, make a welcoming place for other people to be supporters, and to amplify. People are someone made a comment I'm scared to put this avatar because, I'm Asian, I'm not, I'm not black or whatever. And I'm I have a woman avatar every day on Twitter. I don't even have one that's not a woman at this point. Right. And I have no qualms about it because I support those projects. So I'm just kind of curious, I've never turned away from the opportunity to help if I can, but a lot of people feel, may feel apprehensive or worried, maybe much like you did, Brandon. You're in the project, right? I guess how do we alleviate that pain point and open more doors?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think for me, I felt hesitation because of all these women, like you said, women-led projects, and then all of a sudden I'm in it and it's not women-led anymore. Even though honestly, if it were up to me, I would not be called a founder on this project, because it's really truly Nidia's vision that brought me into this. So I would call it a women-led project, even though I'm making the art. But yeah, that I think I would say you're in the minority of men who are cool with supporting all these women-led projects. I don't know that. That's just my opinion. But I don't know how we get past that, honestly. I think for me, it made sense because I have that view through my daughters. For some people, I just don't think it connects with them because they don't have that experience, or maybe they weren't raised by a strong woman.
By a mother?
by a good mother, right? I mean, there's people who don't like their moms, or they just weren't a good example or whatever. But yeah, I don't have a good answer for how we alleviate that other than keep putting it out there and make it more mainstream.
Yeah, I think it's like we're still sort of learning that, because I mean, so yes, before going into this project, I said, okay, should I say that it's women led? And I spoke with someone that's very, that has been in the Web3 space for a long time. And this person said to me, do not say that it's women led. Do not pitch it as women in NFTs. Try, if you're what's the word in English? If your community is only just women, then go for it. But I'm pretty sure you don't want to just focus on women. Like, you want to build a community through women leadership. So obviously it's for everybody. Everybody has a mom, everybody has a grandma, everybody has a female figure in their life. So do not lead with women led. And I'm like, okay, but I am a woman. I am sort of leading this project, but I'm trying not to, because I want it to be for everyone, right?
Okay, but your elephants are a matriarchy, right?
Yes, yes.
So
however,
even if it isn't women led, it's about women.
It's women inspired is the word we've been using a lot.
That's what
That's good. That's
yeah.
I think
But-
it's inspired by.
I fundamentally disagree with the not using the women-led moniker personally, right? And the reason that someone asked me this on Twitter, right? I remember there was like a thread or someone said it. Someone made this comment, and I was like, "There's that infinite number of projects, and like to me, being women-led is a great property or a trait for me to filter on, right? Because I would rather find them faster than have to like do a whole bunch of research to figure it out, because that's Francine and I, for example, predominantly almost 100% like only invest in like women-led projects, right?
Women-led projects, right.
And I have no problem seeing that. There's enough of the guys out there doing their projects that don't need any help from us, right?
And
like,
in our NFT strategy group, do we know any men who wouldn't invest in a women-led project? I don't think so.
No, now I think women only, right? Like is a different thing, right? Like, but
right.
by the way, I haven't seen any of that. I think they will come though, right? Like I think we will get to that stage also. But I think women led is to me an attribute. It's a positive attribute, right? Like not something that's exclusionary per se. Now, I think it's possible the language people use once they get there sometimes can be not, I wouldn't say they like are intentionally exclusionary. I think it may cause apprehension to other people though, right? Like, so folks may get worried that they can't participate, or that, maybe the even bigger part is I think less that they have something to offer, and it's whether or not you want it offered, right? Like, because like, I think it's important to say we welcome everyone, like, if that is the case, right? Like if you don't want everyone, I think like not because you did something wrong, but because people may interpret it as like, can I contribute to this in a way, and I don't think there's someone's doing something wrong per se. I just think it's like, we have to diffuse more of it. Like, as Francine said, no one's going to do it for you. No one's going to tell your story for you, right? Like if you have a startup, no one's going to sell it for you. Right. And if you mean something and you don't say it, then it's not said. Right. Like, and so it requires digging through Discord for 1,400 hours to figure out like, oh no, they said everyone's welcome. Like on, scroll up 14 days in the chat to find the place where
right.
Like, you know what? To that point, I'm a mod. I'm a moderator in one of the Twitter communities that was literally built by Twitter. The admin is a friend of mine, and it's called Women in NFTs. I don't know if
I know that community.
Okay.
Right.
So I'm a mod there, and basically a lot of people think that it's only for women. And I mean, I'm on there maybe once or twice a week. Please know that this community is for everyone. Invite.
Right.
But
okay, let me tell you my secret, because I'm 80. My secret that's not my secret. But my secret is that in my lifetime of being on this planet, right, what I've seen is that men feel very insecure around women. And it's not that, you know, that they don't want to be included. It's that they don't know if they are included. I mean, if you think about it from a biological first principle standpoint, we don't even really need men to have babies anymore. You know, we don't need, I'm doing a room on Thursday called Is Marriage Necessary or Desirable? You know, because I just know so many women having babies, you know, with artificial insemination from a sperm bank, and being a single mom because they have the economic self-sufficiency. And how do you think that makes men feel? You know, it makes them feel totally replaced and, you know, and out of it. So I don't think that you should feel like men are going to reject your project if you bring them into it. You know, they won't reject it.
I don't feel
you should translate it into Spanish before you do anything else, and give it a multicultural feel, because it would be amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, you know, I will definitely start tweeting in Spanish. I think that's a pretty good idea. Sometimes you just need someone to say it in order for it to click, right?
Feel free to get in touch with me. I'm such a good pusher.
Thank you. Thank you. And I will get in touch with you about Randy Zuckerberg, because I feel like
please.
you're absolutely right.
You know, I've been coaching startups now for, you know, like 25 years. And I've heard almost every story and seen almost, you know, every issue. And, you know, if I can help, I'm happy to help.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
Yeah. Really appreciate well, on that note, actually, we should probably call it, because it's time.
Okay.
So I will say this has been a great conversation. We appreciate both of you being here to share. Brandon, I think you should be proud to be part of a women-led project.
I definitely am.
You did an amazing job, but you weren't just hands in there. You contributed more than just the
art. I want
the
blue one.
All right.
And, you know, Nidia, I really, really love this project. Hearing more and personally, like you guys sharing like how all the parts are working together is really phenomenal. I really like the 4K number, actually. Like, I think it's like in that it's going to sell out kind of space, but it's not being like greedy or overly ambitious. So right. I think it's a great spot. I really love the approach of growing your community first. But, you know, slow burns are slow burns, right? And so they're going to take time to happen. And I've been in many of the space where things sold out because like the hype happened because people were together, right? While it was able to be bought, right? And so I think the strategy you have right now seems great. You know, my only advice is if you're waiting and if you expect it to be a slow burn anyway, you may as well start sooner, right? Like, now I get with the herd list, you know, maybe there's some interesting challenges there, right? But hey, get to a number that you think is good. You'll come back and update us as it moves forward. We'll probably have to do a recap episode when we bring back all of our old guests.
Wouldn't that be great? Let's do that. It's your show.
Yeah. Who have we had so far? We've had Angel Alliance, we've had Join Xtal, we had Women with Vases, and I think you all are our fourth actual NFT project.
Yeah.
By the way, I love Maddie. She is amazing.
Isn't Maddie amazing?
Yeah.
I think I'm on the website finally. Yeah. She kept telling me, she's like, "Where's that update, that bio?" And I'm like, "Oh man, all right, fine, all right, I'll write one." Maddie's amazing. She's killing it. But you know, look, these projects, the thing we have to unset is this expectation that they sell out, right? Like, because My bet
The
is
woman with vases, that's 100 pieces.
it's only 100 pieces. They were on last week and pointed
It
out
was
that they were like,
amazing.
they
100
could
pieces.
eventually handle the work of doing more than that actually. So that's how they ended up at 100.
Good. I mean,
but
she's setting
the other thing is-
expectations.
Yeah, well, removing the expectation. I think a project that sells out the day it mints is likely there for speculation, right?
That's
and so as a result, it means that the community is not now. The reason I say that is because most people don't do what you're doing, which is actually building the really large, strong community first, right? A lot of times they're building hype, but I think like you see the fall off, right? Like when you see all the flipping and the selling and all the other stuff, and I think you're doing it the right way, and hopefully we'll move more projects in the direction you're going. So feel free to call on any of us. We'll join you in spaces. We'll help promote. We're always here to help. So thank you all for being here today. It's been a pleasure. Always a wonderful experience. And we will catch you all next week. Oh, before we go, though, I do have an ad from our sponsor. So if you are going to the Creator Economy Expo, feel free to head over to cex.events. Francine, are you going?
Yes, it's in my backyard.
It is in Phoenix, Arizona, right near Francine's house. I haven't committed to going yet, but it is going to be a good
rally day. Just fly down and back and go.
I was thinking about going for the rally day, but yeah, you can get $200 off if you go if you use the promo code created at cex.events. Our friend Joe Polizzi puts it together. It's for all entrepreneurs in the content business. So by all means, I know it will be a good event. I just have a lot of crap going on.
Oh, yeah. Joe Polizzi is really amazing. He's been putting on events for 30 years.
Yeah. And he's a genius at this stuff. And he coined the phrase content entrepreneur. And so, yeah, if you do content for a living, it's probably a great event to be at. So $200 off, use the term created. With that, we will say good afternoon, good evening, or good morning, wherever you may be. Give your kids a hug for us, and we will see you all.
Buenos días. Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
Arnold and Francine are here next week. They've got the Cosmos team, I believe, coming in. All righty. Bye, everyone.
Thank you all.
Bye. Thank you.